My name is Ryan Reyes.
I'm Dominic Angel.
And I'm Ricky Macias.
And together we are Un Poquito.
Podcast.
Un Poquito Podcast, exploring Latino culture little by little.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment. Also, if you're listening on audio and you like something we said, something made you laugh, let us know in the comments. Come on over to the YouTube, leave a comment. It helps us out. Also, rate and review 5 stars, please. You can follow us on social media at Un Poquito Pod and send us an email at unpoquitopod@gmail.com. We want to give a shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you for supporting us and making this podcast possible. Couldn't do without you guys. If you want to join us on Patreon, there's a link in the description. You get free weekly bonus content and early access to episodes. Also, if you want to, chat us up in between weeks and maybe meet other people like you, join us on the Discord. It's a lot of fun. It's free to join. Links are in the description. Okay. Thanks everyone for being here today. But today we're excited today. We have a very fun, exciting guest. Ryan, give us some hype music. Okay, Ricky, now's your chance.
She's from the San Gabriel Valley. She's the only one in this scene that has better hair than I do. She's very funny.
Josh is bald. Okay, so be nice.
Oh, what the whoop?
She's
Say your name.
Annoying little sister, Stevona Delgado.
Hi.
Yay!
Stevona. Yeah, I feel like when people say Stevona, it makes me sound like really manly.
Stevona.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was Stevona or Stevona.
No, my dad's name is Steve. So my name is just Stevona. My mom has my brother. I don't know what her deal is, but my brother's dad's name is Andre, and she named my dad Andre. And then they separated, and then she got with my dad, and then she named me after my dad, and then they just separated, and then that's it.
Wow. It's weird that she never thought to name you after her.
My dad used to say it is because it's Stevona. Her name is Veronica. But
Stevonica.
That just has a V.
It would have been Stevonica.
Stevonica.
But no, she just, I don't know.
Stevonica sounds like a type of wind instrument.
I would not want my name to be Stevonica, because that sounds too much like a harmonica.
It's got 1,200 keys.
That's for sure what they would have called me in school. I feel like, oh my God, they called me Steve-O when I was in Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's
Stone Cold Stevona would be a great
Stone Cold Stevona. Put that on a shirt.
That's an Instagram handle right there.
When I start selling merch, that's gonna be what it is.
It's just you with like a glare.
Did you ever hear the story about why he changed his name? It used to be something weird, like he had long golden hair, but he started going bald. And they're like, it was like
his name is Steve. Oh,
something fabulous, like Steve Williams the Fabulous or something. But he started losing his hair, so he was like, "Fuck it," and then he thought of Stone Cold.
That makes sense.
He was born again.
Yeah, that's I mean 316.
What's that?
Austin 316.
316. But yeah, that's how they used to tease me in elementary school. It's like, call me Stone Cold Steve Austin or Stevona.
You just called me fat.
I feel like, I'd rather be called Stone Cold Steve Austin than fat.
That's fair.
But I feel like you can't escape being bullied as a kid.
They always ask me where Lucy was over and over because my name's Ricardo. And I go by Ricky. They're like, where's Lucy? Where's Lucy? Like, Lucy's dead, all right? She's dead. That's where she is.
Did anybody ever as you were leaving, they were like, Ricky.
People did that in middle school.
Yeah. Even though it's Richie.
But that's a good one because that's a sad one, huh? Ricky when he dies? Or they like,
so they do Richie Valens one, and they also did Boys in the Hood one. That's Boys in the Hood, right?
I was referring to Richie Valens.
Yeah. So I get both. Latino does Richie Valens. Black people do Boys in the Hood reference to my name.
Do they call you Ricky Martin?
That too. I got Ricky Bobby. I got Pretty Ricky. I got a lot of the Rickies.
I wish I got Pretty Ricky.
But they meant it in a mean way.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cool Ryans. There's like 2, and they're both Canadian.
Well, Ryan's World is starting to come up, and he's starting to make a name in the industry.
Who's Ryan's World?
He's the little boy that opens toys on YouTube. He literally no, it's funny, but he's on Forbes as like one of the richest
Damn,
kids
you got
in the world.
outclassed.
I think that's the kid that took the Instagram name that I wanted.
Really?
I think so.
Ryan's World. Yeah, and all he does is just open toys all day and review them and like play with them, and like little kids watch that. So yeah, he's very wealthy. So I mean, you're older than him, but fuck it.
I've been trying to
up to him.
I've been trying to figure out a way to bring this up on the podcast, and I feel like this is the best chance I'm gonna get. We're talking about nicknames. People call me Dom so freely,
Doesn't
and I'm
like
like, I've never. Don't call me Dom, especially like people that just meet me.
Yeah.
Have you ever like somebody give you a nickname
Sorry,
like within 10 minutes of like meeting you? Like I literally would be like, "Oh hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. My name is Dominic." And then 2 minutes later, like, "Hey Dom, you want something to drink?" I'm like, "Go fuck yourself."
This doesn't make me tip you more.
Yeah.
He is not
I gotta
friendly,
put a stop
guys.
to
He
it.
is not friendly.
Yeah.
Where's your no fun shirt?
Yeah.
I just
It's in his
listen.
heart.
Dom is the only person that could be called Dom is Dom DeLuise.
That's fair.
That's
That
it.
is-
How did they make fun of you in elementary school?
I feel like people would call me Domino's, but I was just like, I'm cool.
They got good pizza.
They got pretty good pizza.
I mean, I do get that point though, because if anyone calls me Rick, I'm like, and when Patrick, Patrick, when he erases the Pat and leaves Rick, and he's like, my name's not Rick. I do feel that way.
I don't know. It is.
I feel like there's just no way of escaping it, and it's sad because a lot of people are like, we should end bullying, or you notice how everybody has like a sad story about like, oh, I got bullied when I was in this school, when I was in this grade, but it's like, yeah, we all got fucking bullied. Like we all got bullied. I don't think there's one person that exists that hasn't gotten bullied, right?
Yeah, it's probably just the extent of it. Because I got a little.
I think
Yeah,
we need to
'cause I think
normalize
there's-
it a little bit.
There's getting picked on and there's getting bullied. You know
I
what
gotta
I
be
mean?
honest.
Like
I
there's
was
kids
a cool kid.
Like there's kids like
you
Dominic that would
weren't.
call other people names. I'm just kidding. I feel like there's a difference between getting picked on and getting bullied, because when you're getting picked on, it's just like, oh, this is this. There's that weird kid. But when you're getting bullied, it's like one kid is focusing on you and for some reason just like dumping on you. Like I got bullied in middle school. This kid would like always try to fight me to the point where we had to change our classes like 3 months into the year because he wouldn't leave me alone.
Dom, you didn't beat
insane.
him up for him?
He's 3 years older than me. This was middle school. He would have been in high school already.
Who gives a fuck? It'd be even easier.
You didn't take a long lunch?
No.
That would be better.
I mean,
I wish I had an older sibling that
What-
protected me.
What
I
time?
did when he was
did
in high
not.
school, when we went to high school together. But what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fucking leave.
You're gonna dirty your suit.
Gonna dirty. I used to wear suits in high
He
school.
used to wear suits in high school.
Really?
Senior year.
Yeah,
Wow.
junior, senior year, I wore suits.
You wanted to dress as the the job you wanted to get.
Yeah, just for the job I wanted.
Apparently, he
which
wanted to
was
be like a
homeless
1960s jazz singer.
Yeah,
I like that. That's equivalent to girls wearing high heels to school, to high school. So, because some girls would dress up and wear heels.
That's wild.
Yes.
You know the
but
pavement
that's
at
also
school's
the best
uneven?
time because that's the most time you have the most energy.
That's true. But those pavements are jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I know.
did you wear high heels to school?
No, I actually moved high schools because I didn't like that the school I was at, the girls were getting like way too dressed up. I'm like, oh no, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is not.
It was more of a fashion thing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is making me
That's
uncomfortable.
hilarious.
But in reality, it's because because of that, I was like a 7.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't liking that. I was like, put me back in the ghetto. I want to go to where all the girls are wearing sweats, No, but they're all shopping at the mini mall,
They got hot Cheeto fingers.
Yeah, where we all look alike. But no, I didn't. I did dress up though a lot. I would wake up like at 5 a.m. to do my hair.
That's wild.
And I didn't even wear makeup, so I don't know why I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would just wake up. I think because it was like I was barely learning how to curl my hair, so I wake up at 5 a.m. to get ready.
Wow, the dress
And-
up was your 0 period?
That's
Yeah,
crazy
pretty
because
much.
my school started at 7:00 and I woke up at 6:45.
I would just show up. Not even learn, just show up to dress night, like dress cool.
That's crazy.
You know?
I mean, at least you
Bonkers.
did something. I showed up and didn't do anything without any extra effort.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't care how you looked? Were you in band?
No, I give off that
Oh.
energy, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually
Dom
me.
too. You guys look like you guys were in band and you guys made out with all. You guys shared each other's one
Band
significant
people
other.
really do that though.
Yeah, they be swapping spit. Band people are like those. Those are the people that for sure and like go to like or those orgasm parties. Huh?
Orgasm.
What's it
parties.
called?
Orgies.
You got the spirit, kid.
I mean, it's not incorrect.
You know, they're for sure there, or they probably swap with their friends.
I will say, like, when I was in high school, all of the drumline was like dating each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the drama.
I mean, they're into banging things. So
punk.
it's
The drama
it
kids
makes
too.
sense.
And they were always PDA. Like at lunchtime, they was always like sitting on top of each other. And
They were
like,
practicing scenes. You can't judge them for that.
there's no scenes not like that in high school.
You've never read the. God, I don't got a reference.
I'm so sad that I didn't do drama in high school.
Oh, you
I
were
wanted
jealous
to,
of them?
Yeah.
The two things I wanted
I'm
to
jealous
do.
because they swap partners every week. Yeah, I want to do that.
My like in junior year, we got a new drama teacher, and everyone was super excited because he was like a young dude and he put a lot of effort into the props and the set designs. So they were gonna be like, "Oh, the plays are gonna be better now," and they weren't. They were just like very fancy for very bad actors.
That's awesome.
They did Little Shop of Horrors. That was kind of cool, but they couldn't afford to make a. There was just one person with a hand puppet, like on the side of the stage. Like,
Oh my god.
I would have enjoyed that.
Hey everybody, we want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Legacy Teas and Spices, which is a company run by our mom, Angel Mesco, who's here with us today.
Hey guys.
Normally me and Ryan give you the spiel, but today we're going to let my mom tell you about her teas, so why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention we have several medicinal teas in stock. A lot of people have been asking. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions that they're working on. So we have tea to help. And so I just wanted to mention we have an immune system to help boost your immune system. We have a stress-free tea. We have a good night tea that helps with sleep. We have turmeric ginger that helps with inflammation. We have a detox that's a cleansing tea. We have a digestive aid. We also have a weight management tea. We're all trying to get healthy right now, and with a proper diet and some exercise, these teas can really help you out. We have different sizes, and today we're holding up, this is like a starter size. It's a $12.95, but with your code you get the discount. And this can give you about 12 servings, give or take, depending on how much you use. But this is all artisan, hand blended by myself. And yeah, we have many flavors. Check out our website. Using UP23 at checkout so that we know you came from watching Un Poquito podcast. It gets them 23% off their entire purchase online at legacyteasandspices.com. All right, thanks you guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks you guys.
So we've been on like a stand-up comedy kick today, and like you started a little bit after we did. I
Yeah.
feel like
Did you?
No, really?
1000%.
Well, I feel like you've been in it for a minute.
Yeah.
Huh? You've
I
been
don't
part
like
of the
saying it
chatter.
out loud, but yeah.
You're jealous. You're insecure of your age.
Well, I think when me and Donick started, you'd only been doing it like a year and a half to like 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. When did you start? What year do you think?
I think it was 2019
yeah,
Yeah, we'd already been doing it 4 years by that time.
to maybe 2018, 2019. Oh, so you guys were already in it for 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. No, yeah.
Sounds like a year or two. Because I started technically like 2012.
Oh, yeah.
2012, 2013. I need to double check, but yeah.
You were talking earlier about like joining stand up because like I feel like most people that start stand up are like love stand up comedy. Like they know the history of like Bill Hicks and George Carlin and like fucking Joan Rivers and stuff. But you were saying like you didn't come like you weren't inspired by that type of comedy.
No, I was just inspired of more like I said, like Amanda Bynes, all that. Dare I say it, but the Cosby Show was a really big like impact.
You're
on
very
me
you
too.
got a lot of Rudy energy.
You do give a lot of Rudy energy.
Yeah, that was I used to watch like late at night. I used to watch his show, like Kids Say the Darndest Things. So like Full House was also a really big like impact. It was basically more like shows, and I loved writing. Like I had like Twitter, I've had MySpace, Facebook, and I always loved like updating like my tweets with like funny lines, like funny jokes, you know, or put it on Facebook, and I would like love all the likes, and I'm like, dude, like I have to like more people need to hear this. Like, where can I say this at? Because more people need to hear this. I need to do it, but I didn't know that you could just go to like a coffee shop and talk on a microphone
And
for
ruin
5
someone's
minutes.
day.
I thought you had to know someone in the industry. Like, I thought you had to know Adam Sandler or something to like start getting into the scene like that. I didn't know you could just start.
To be fair, I feel like I started doing like storytelling, and I wasn't a musician, but I would like curate like DIY shows. But I feel like similarly, like even I had met comedians that were doing like open mics and stuff, but I was always like, oh, you're just a comedian. Like you just be like, I didn't know that you like could go to open mic and like try to become a comedian, build your career that way. I feel like because you have to practice in front of people, you just automatically assume like, oh, these people are working like all the time. I didn't know it was like practice.
Yeah, it was weird to find out because like I remember like just listening to podcasts eventually, and then eventually realizing like, oh, you could just Google where to go to. Like
Yeah.
there's a thing called open mics, and that's where people practice. And I had to learn that from comedians in the industry on podcasts.
Well, also a lot of podcasts used to talk about like Chicago and New York as like, oh, you would just go to these things. They were describing open mics, but it sounded like they were describing like a legit show.
Right.
So I just put that in my head that like, oh, they're all competing, but for like paying gigs.
Yeah, and then I found out that like there was one in Covina, and I lived in La Puente at the time. I'm like, oh my God, that close to me? I'm like, anybody can just go. And I had went with my friend just to like go check it out, go see what it was about. And I was like, oh, I could do this. But there was no girls, though. That was the only thing that sucked. There was no girls. And then I reached out again because I wanted to go. But one of the comedians said, oh, it's not, they don't run it anymore. Go to Chatterbox. There's this new place I'm going to go called Chatterbox.
So you're not even talking about Chatterbox.
No, I'm not
What
talking
was
about
the other
Chatterbox.
place?
I don't know. It was in Monrovia, I believe. Or like.
Oh, crazy.
Imagine it was Wings.
It was.
That would be fun.
It could have been Wanks.
I think it was.
Because he used to run.
I think it was.
Josh
Me and
Michaels.
Josh
Yeah, it
were
was
running
Josh
And it,
Michaels.
like suddenly they're like, we didn't renew the lease. This place is closing down. The mic is over. And we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Josh Michaels is
Goodbye.
the one that I went to go see because he was dating my friend at the time who was his coworker. She just moved
Yeah.
from Oregon. So she was like, oh my God. She would always tell me, you need to do stand-up comedy. Like, you should try it.
Wow.
And then she met him and she's like, oh my God, guess what? This guy that I work with is a comedian. And it was so weird how like the stars just like connected because I was like so low in my life and I was like, I need to do something that like I want to do. Like I want to do like, so even if it's like scary, like I
Yeah.
just need to do like something because I can't be like out here working for other people. I can't be like just not getting any like keep getting fired or keep quitting every single job that I have, you know, like if that's gonna happen, I want to have, if I gotta get a job, I want to work on something that I want to do at the end of the day, and
I
that's
get that.
fucking being a clown, bitch. It's fucking being a clown. Put my red nose on. Give me my red nose and give me my colorful wig, bitch, because
Yeah, working a day job is fucking whack. Like, I just recently started working like a regular job again, and just like you were saying, it's like it sucks to realize how little control you have over your life. Like a couple weeks ago, remember we were having those storms in LA, and like my job is being a driver, so like
You still have to.
I still had to drive, and like I was getting into my car, and I got a notification on my phone, like a flash flood warning, and it said, "Try to not drive." Because it could be life or death. Like, only travel if it's absolutely necessary. I called my supervisor. I was like, "Hey, do we have any like procedures for a flash flood warning?" And he goes, "Yeah, be careful."
Like,
So
just
they don't care about you
just
out
hang
there.
in there. You got this.
Your company doesn't love you. Anyway, do what you love, like comedy.
Yeah, you might as well. I wish that I really feel like because of the way we're around here and like working a lot and stuff, I feel like that's the reason we have a lot of violence going on, a lot of depression. A lot of people are seeing like therapists and stuff. I know that I think Iceland has a four day work day.
Really?
Yeah, they work only 4 days so that they get 3 days like that extra time to like be with family because 2 days is just like not enough. But yeah, it's like a lot of stuff is ran really backwards here. That's why I want to get really rich and then move to like Italy or something.
Italy just elected a fascist dictator.
Is it? I don't know, but something
Oh,
like
boy.
something where we walk a lot. I get free medical insurance.
We walk a lot of medical. I mean, I get it. I get what you're
Iceland,
saying.
Iceland seems nice, but it does seem like they're very fascinated with brown people.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh,
Well, I would love for them to be fascinated with me.
little boy.
What? Is there an innuendo?
They're like, ooh.
Just poking you.
Oh, but yeah, back to the story. So I went to Chatterbox. It's like, let me just check it out. And then I seen people go up, and this is where I saw girls go up, and I was like, oh my god, okay, I can so do this. Like the next time I come, I'm gonna go up. And I took only one friend, and like I didn't tell nobody what I was doing. I was so fucking scared. It's
was me.
so crazy how scared I was. I was drinking a lot. I was peeing a lot. I was shaking. And then I got up. That's why when people are like, I want to try it, but I'm scared. I'm like, dude, I fucking know. I fucking know.
That's what I tell people all the time is like, you're going to be scared. Like I still get anxiety every single time before I step on stage. Like, and then you are up there and it's like, I'm cool. Like I'm in this, but it's like, yeah, it is nerve wracking, but you're fine.
I feel like obviously if you need some kind of like physical support, like someone to body double, that's the term used for ADHD, definitely like feel comfortable bringing someone. But it is a funny thing when people like invite their families to shows because they're not
Shows are open mics.
Open
mics because they're not shows, they're practice. So it's like if your mom invited your whole family to watch you tune your guitar in your garage. It's like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." He's so talented. Look how far he's gotten. And it's
Dude,
like,
the people that bring their families to open mics.
or us. No, we didn't bring it, but like for our first year, our mom invited
She would
everyone.
just-
She's very supportive, and we appreciate and love it. But yeah, it was like, I'm just here to practice.
My mom be coming to all my mics. I'm like, everything. I'm like, you've heard this set so many times. Like,
Really?
yeah. I'm like, it's the same joke. I'm telling you, I'm like, it's the same jokes over and over.
I didn't realize
Like,
she was
I'm
coming.
this side. Yeah, she's probably gonna go tonight to go see Viet because she taught. Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy. And you know, it's funny you're saying that you get nervous every time. Is like people don't assume that about you specifically.
really?
Yeah, I don't think people really assume that you're getting nervous up there.
Yeah, you don't give off nervous energy.
You don't give off
You
visibly any scared fear energy.
It's the good posture.
I just want to remind you that when you walked in here, you were like, "Where can I smoke?" And then we asked Josh, and then in the middle of the conversation, you were like, "Okay, Josh, I'm ready. Let's go."
Like,
Yeah, I was ready. Just need a little prep, you know, a little pick me up.
but I think that's funny. I think it's good that people hear it because they see people like you that they assume are always confident and are funny, but they don't realize you're also terrified all the time.
Yeah, and then especially when you become friends with comics, you don't want to especially in the beginning, like when I would do mic trips with my friends, like we would hit like 4 mics in one. I would be so nervous to do my material in front of them.
Oh, wow.
So nervous, you know? And that took like a while for me to get over because I just started like going by myself. And then after a while, you get the hint. But there's also like open mics you go to, and open mics are for practice, but there's sometimes where like you can't even really practice because you're at like a bar and there's a lot of people, so you're like, I'm gonna say my for sure bangers, you know, or like you're somewhere and there's a bunch of people walking, or a lot of people just happen to be there and they're paying attention. Now you're like, okay, I'm not gonna say that new joke I've been working on, I'm gonna say what I know works. And that makes me nervous too, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I say, fuck the new jokes, I'm gonna hit them with the bangers tonight.
Yeah, it's always like, I gotta fucking flex. Especially like when I go to a new mic where nobody knows who I am. I'm like, all right, I gotta flex on these fools.
I wanna win.
And then most of the time, it's like if they don't know you, they're like, who gives a shit about this guy? And you'll fucking bomb anyway. So any of that energy you come in with, like,
Sometimes.
That's why I like doing the slotted mics at Fourth Wall, because there's only inside are the people that are also going up, so you can say like stupid shit. Like stupid shit. Like sometimes I just go in there and I just talk my ass off. Like I feel comfortable because it's only like people in there who are also gonna get up too. You know?
Do you feel like that's how you write? You throw shit at the wall?
I'm trying to figure out how I write. So, ooh, are you okay, Ryan?
Yeah, man.
that was gnarly.
That was crazy. That was some exorcism shit.
What did I miss?
He cracked his neck in a really disgusting way.
No, I'm still figuring out how I write. Although I did do this exercise because I'm reading this book called How to Write Funnier, because there's a volume 1 called How to Write Funny, and it says every day write down 10 new jokes, but one-liners. Like just think of one-liners. And he's like, the comics say that they have nothing to like. Then this was my issue. I'm like, I can't write because I don't have any ideas. You know, I'm going out, but I'm not getting any ideas. Nothing's flowing to me. And he's like, comics say this because they don't exercise their mind to even think about it. A lot of them are going to suck, but there's going to be that one banger that you need, and you might as well have a lot of them than like have just a few here and a few there. So I did start taking that advice and like writing 10 a day. And sometimes I want to do 10, sometimes I'll do 5 because I don't even write every single day, period, at all. So I'm like, let me not, tire myself out. But I have been noticing that more ideas have been coming to me, and it's been nice.
I think
it's
that's
been nice.
true. I mean, I started to write more again. I wasn't writing things down for a while. Bad habit. But I've noticed that the more I write, the more even when I'm experiencing new things, the more the jokes are coming into my head as I'm living the moment. Even though that doesn't sound like I'm living in the moment, but it's like if I'm going through experiences now, jokes are coming to me of like, oh, I'm processing what I'm going through, and a joke's coming out of it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm able to remember them more because they're attached to like the feelings of the moment. And I think that comes with writing. You train your mind to write all the time, and it just starts naturally wanting to do it more.
Yeah, and just like being more conscious too, because I'm out here experiencing life. I'm going out with friends, I'm having conversations, I'm taking risks, but like I'm having fun, but like what's a punchline that I can, what's a joke?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be funny. It's one thing to be a funny person, and it's another thing to be a comedian. Because some people will try to stand up there and they're like, well, yeah, people say I'm funny, but it's like, but can you write a joke?
That's a whole different thing.
Can you set it up right? Can you get to the punchline? Can you keep,
It's like, are you funny, or do you just say that's what she said? Like a bunch of times.
Do you quote The Office at work?
You're the office guy at the office. No, yeah, I think that's like usually the one of the major definers of like. I think it was Steve that told us this. Steve Hernandez. I almost wanted to go into that whole spiel. Big Her and get him again, but it was like
Big Her and get him again.
Big Her and get him again. Anyway, I think it was Steve Hernandez that told us this, but it was like he tells every like person that's thinking of trying, like, you just got to do it, and then once you've done it, either you bomb and you never want to do it again, or you bomb but you feel like you have to get better, and then you keep coming back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a thing of like, that's one of the things that kind of, you know, obviously not in that first try, but people soon realize like, oh, this is actually a performance art. This is actually like something you have to cultivate and work on as a craft.
Yeah.
Even though it's just you telling funny stories about yourself, it's like, yeah, but you have to tell them the right way.
When I first started, Steve told me, "You're gonna suck, but either he said you're gonna suck, but you're gonna do it, and you're either gonna hate it and you'll never do it again, or you're gonna love it and it's gonna ruin your life." And 4 years later, I sold my house to focus on comedy.
I lived in that house.
Sorry, now we're homeless.
It's a good decision. I would have done the same, to be honest.
I mean, I
Just
quit
as-
a bad college I shouldn't have been going to, so it kind of helped my life. So that's kind of cool. Still paying off the student loans though. So
Yeah. No, it really did help me because I was really depressed because I'm like, oh my God, why can't I keep a job? Like, I don't understand. Like, everybody here has jobs, has consistent income, and I'm like, if I don't like the fucking costume they make me wear or whatever, I'm not gonna do that. Or like, if I feel like I've been working way too much for like not what I'm worth, like I'm out. But like, I have to find that one thing that I want to like fail at, basically.
yeah.
You know, like what's worth it? What's really worth it? Well, entertaining people and stuff like that's worth it. That's worth it for me. And I feel like I had a really good start to comedy because I did have a good first set. And Steve did tell me to. First, he thought I was underage. He was like so mean to me at first when I ordered a drink, like super mean to me.
Pretty sure you also did used to come in with like your hair tied
Like
up,
chonguitos.
Yeah.
and you were wearing a backpack a lot.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe. Was that my joke book in there?
She's like, do you guys serve Kahlua?
Oh, now I order Shirley Temples from him. So, but I ordered a drink, and then he was like, "Let me see your ID." Like, he said it with such an attitude. It was so mean. And then I gave him my ID, and then I went up, and then right after he was like, "You were so good." He was like, "You were so good. Are you gonna come back?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back." And then I ended up telling my mom, like, guess what? I did stand-up because I did good. So I'm going to tell people now.
It took one good time. That's
I
funny.
did stand-up comedy. She's like, how did it go? I'm like, because I didn't know who Steve was at the time. And I was like, good. The bartender told me to come back. Like,
The bartender.
and then, yeah, but I have a feeling that I did so good because I had been waiting for like an opportunity to do that.
That's
So like
cool, though.
I have been waiting my whole life, but I was just so scared to like even take the first step to it.
It's also interesting because you definitely like come from a different. At the time when we started doing stand up, it was a lot of people that were influenced by like people like Pete Holmes and like this like really nerdy style of like smart comedy coming out. And that was like what was trending. But I feel like you started on like the tail end of that. I see more of that in all of like the three of us, I would say. But like when you started, you were very like, you're from Baldwin Park. I work at a gas station. Like, like cool girl energy. Like,
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to
She's like,
hear.
that's all I ever wanted.
Yeah, but because I feel like I have my own style, because I feel like those energy that I get, the energy that I give off in that comedy is because of the shows that I watched, and I always wished I could be. I guess, you know,
Really?
like I wish I could be that type of character, like the funny character in like the comedy scenes,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
you know, like I wish I could be like that. So let me find a way for it to bring it out. Cause I'm actually really like sweet and, you know, I'm really nice and person, and I'm actually really ditzy and stuff. So it's like,
You?
Yeah. Who?
But it is still funny though that like yeah you were influenced by all that, but I never got a sense that you're like copying it.
Oh no! But it was definitely like influence.
But a lot of
was
people
like,
do early on.
oh yeah,
And that's just happens.
like when people copy Raven from That's So Raven. Raven's
No,
the mom.
like it was something we had talked about in the Patreon, but it's like people start developing a comedian's voice where they're doing what they believe is funny and what they believe people will like as jokes, but they're kind of just like copying and pasting the vibe that they've seen on YouTube or they've seen from their favorite comedians. So it doesn't feel genuine. It feels heavily forced, and it's like it's that very stereotypical like comedian like tone where it's like it sounds rehearsed.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's not me. It's my own life. It's my own life, but I'm just acting as if like I'm in a TV show or whatever.
yeah,
you know.
it sounds like you figured out a lot of
Yeah.
the performance before a lot of other comedians.
Yeah,
did.
I'm just trying to inspire people
kinda like-
to start comedy. I'm like, everybody do comedy. You're not gonna, not everybody's been good, but just try it once because it's good, even for like a bucket list thing.
The vibe was kind of like when you go to like Taco Bell one day and it's just that generic like hello, welcome to Taco Bell, and then one day you happen to get some dude who's like just vibing. He's like, "Fuck is up, dude? How you doing? What can I get you?"
Guy sounds like he's on drugs, probably.
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
so funny.
Probably.
Yeah, ever
But
since
he
then.
deserves to be.
Or it's like this. You ever go to like any fast food restaurant during that seasonal month when they're having like sweepstakes for the employees? So they're just like over the top trying to sell themselves. Like, hell yeah, you're gonna go get a crunch? That's what I get. Fucking. They're like knuckle bumping you and shit.
Hey, bro,
Pound
it's
that
your
shit.
change. I'm just kidding.
Ah, that's mean.
I wish
have
I
a
always
soft
had-
spot for fast food workers.
Really?
They can disrespect me. They can yell at me. They can throw change at me. I get it, baby. You had a
That's
hard
more than a
day.
soft spot.
You had a hard
It's
day.
a soft shell.
Taco. Cheesy gordita crunch.
I used to work at fast food. That shit was hard. People disrespected me left and right.
I didn't work at fast food, but I will say I worked at a tea shop, and it was in Old Town Pasadena. So, and this was before they had a lot of like family friendly businesses because they're a little bit more like accepting. I guess there's still H&M and stuff like that, but there's also like a 24-hour arcade for adults, and there's like a bunch of family restaurants opened up with it. But before, when I started working in that area, it was very like snooty white people between 25 and 32. And so you'd get like weird requests. Like I work at a tea shop, and when the space I was working at had been bought out like 2 times in the last 20 years. And so this lady comes up and she's like, is this where I get the skateboards? And I was like, no, this is a tea shop. And she's like, but Google says that the skateboard shop's right here. And I was like, okay, but not anymore. This is a tea shop. And she was like, so you're not going to sell me a skateboard? And I was like, well, let me check the back. And I turn around and I just look up at the wall of tea. And I was like, sorry, we're ran out. And she was like, huh. And then she left.
And they want you to help them with everything. Everything.
I just remember this.
They want you to
Personal
fix
struggles.
their
I just remember
life
this funny
problems.
detail. She left a bad review, but of a different. We were in like a food court, and she left a review for the wrong store. She was like, "I can't believe they didn't have skateboard," and it was for like Press Juicery, which was right next to us. It was a really funny day.
So this is probably an annoying question. I don't know if you've been asked this before, and I don't want you to feel tokenized. But you're the first person that like we've had on that could probably speak to this, because we understand what it means to like come up as like Latinos in comedy. But do you see yourself like affected by like being a Latina doing stand up?
No, I feel like I've been treated equal. If anything, I feel like comedy needs Latinas, because the white girls are great, but it's just like they have the same type of comedy, and like we get it. We've not trying to be mean, but like we've been there, done that. We've seen it. Next, like we need different types. Like even black black comedians, they're their own type, but women though, like we
No.
have a lot of
Right.
men.
Yeah.
No offense, but we have a lot of y'all. You know, like for girls, like we want to see more because they have a specific type, and we need like more of that. So I feel like if anything, it kind of gives me a little bit more of a leverage because born in a time when people want to put minorities up. People are making it right. I feel like people are being more vocal about putting minorities in the spotlight more. And I just really don't see much Latina comedians. Not a lot. So ladies should join more. Ladies should try more. But like I've been having an awesome time because it's been cool for people to want me to like represent. But I also feel like I earned that right too because I put in a lot of time and effort, you know? But yeah, a lot of people they'll put me on a show because they need a comedian that's Latina. But obviously I need to be good too. They're not just, gonna hand it to me like that. I'm Latina, not white. I still gotta work for it. But I don't feel like anybody has like put me down or anything like that. You know, I don't feel like it's been but I also tune myself out of everything going on. Like, I don't even know why the president's Joe Biden, huh? I don't know who the vice president is.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Like, I just tune myself out of like reality and like I'm really in my own world.
That is such a funny phenomenon because they're having shows where I can't say necessarily that this is why they put me on the show, but there have been several shows in the last couple of years that I was the only like minority. And it was like, at first I start to think like that, and I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. Like, what do I expect from this crowd then? But then I do well. I do like better than most of the show, except for the headline. And it's like, at least that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like white, I don't know. Not to sound racist, little white people, but their comedy is like they don't suffer as it's like we're funny because we suffered and we almost died and so many we're really not supposed to be alive, but we fucking are, and like that's why like we have more trauma to like joke about when you're comfortable your whole life or you've just kind of like grew up in a very safe spot and you're pretty much blessed. You don't really have much trauma to joke about because you don't really
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear
That's how I
about
feel.
how hot it is on the golf course.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still white comedians that I love, but I also feel like we need more minority comics because they bring a different type of funny that the general right now can't give.
Regardless.
Regardless, eh?
And then we have a lot of like, we have Marcella, we have, and then
Marcella,
what's Angela Johnson, but like we need like up and coming, like, younger, like those are like the older people, like, those are like the older, like we need like more up and coming.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's something we end up keeping on saying, like
That are young. Like it's awesome that Ralph Barboza is getting recognized at 26.
Right.
Because you don't see
that's also
any
a fair point.
comedians that
really
are that
don't.
young. You don't.
I'm 26 right now.
You don't see comedians that are that young. They're all fucking old.
Yeah.
Majority, like the really, really, really successful ones.
Yeah, I feel like most people don't break it until like they're in their 30s.
Late 30s, early 40s that used to be the norm for comedians to break,
Yeah.
or just very young, very very young.
Yeah, like
Especially the ones that do
immediately
sitcoms.
Immediately, as soon as not soon, but like 18, 19, 20, like Eddie Murphy.
I'm wondering if there's a parallel for that because I'm starting to realize that a lot of comedians that got kind of a late start also got sitcoms later on, like George Lopez, Bill Cosby,
Yeah, because they can handle
Ray Romano.
Yeah, there's more to work with. On average, an older comedian, there's more to work with and more to mine, more of their talent and experience to mine from. Yeah, also like you're saying, they're just experienced.
And we'll do it for less money.
We'll do it for half.
I got kids.
So when we started doing stand-up, we found like a routine of like, these are the mics that we go to. And then you'd mix up you'd mix it up every now and then where you find a new mic. But like I had my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule. I would do 6 mics. That was it for the week. But I feel like you're a grind, like you grind it out. Like you go everywhere.
I aim to do 4 a week. But I mean that's because I'm unemployed right now, so I can. I don't like to make people feel bad because when I have a job, it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard to work on your passion, and it's hard to work a full-time job. But everybody, you can do it. I know it's fucking hard, but bitch, like trust, you could do it. So I try to aim for 4 a day, 4 a week. But I also just make it my mission to be seen a lot. Try to go to as many events as I can. If anybody wants me to do a podcast, yeah, I'll do a podcast. If there's a show going on, okay, if I can support, I'll go. If you want me to host, okay, I'll host because I just feel like I have the talent. I do need to write a little bit more, but I feel like part of the grind is being seen. And I was even telling them in the room, I was like, if you cannot make it a point to be seen because maybe you're tired from work or maybe you work too much, then you better use social media to your advantage. If you cannot be seen in physical form, then you better be seen in, digital form because people are going to forget you and people are working and they're out here being seen. It doesn't matter if you have talent. If they can't remember you or if they don't remember when they seen you, they met you that one time, but it was a long time ago and they haven't seen you since, they're not going to recommend you for anything. They're not going to think of you to put you on a show, because they're being introduced to new people all the time, new good people. So so I just make it my mission to like be seen and like just work with everybody because you never know. When I start something, I might need people too,
I feel like you probably twice a week are lecturing people at open mics about their social media presence.
I am.
I remember you were talking to me and you like cornered us at the chatterbox of like, you guys got to post, you guys got to do this and that.
Yeah, because you don't have to, but the internet and like the digital life was built to make things move faster.
Yeah.
So it's like we can be where we want to be faster if we just kind of like at least, build a little bit of something here and there. Yeah. Because there's people that don't post consistently, but they'll post one thing and it goes viral and they get a bunch of like followers or something, and you don't know who's down to go to your show. Or you don't know who's waiting for the next video that you're gonna post. Maybe they live in another state, Right. Maybe you start something and from that other state they purchase merch or something like that. Like you don't know. It's a way for you to connect with people who are outside of like the.
Yeah, it's getting crazy to see because this isn't the first time you've scolded me about this, and and you're right, and it's just like, man, all right, fine. I'm going to start taping my sets and just posting clips of it now. And then maybe deleting them or reposting them to keep them fresh.
I mean, if you're
share
working,
your secrets.
If you're working, you'll have content. Like, if you're working, you'll have content. But that's how, I was watching an interview with Ralph Barbosa too, and he said he was just uploading on YouTube Shorts, and that's how everything pretty much like kicked off, and he was doing it for fun. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like you do it so you can get like money and viewers, but like it's fun.
But if we want to keep doing this, eventually it has to make money so we can focus on it, because it's like I have a day job, I'm making enough money now, but I don't got enough time, and in order to make more time, I have to make this make money. And that's what I want.
Yeah, and you do that by being able to sell more tickets. And how do you get more people to buy your tickets if more people see you? How you do that? By going to shows. But, okay, I can't go to 5 shows in one place, but I could upload a video that 300 people are going to see, But I've gotten a lot of opportunities just because people will go to my social media and they'll see my work, so they know, all right, if I book this girl, she's gonna be funny. I literally can see her jokes. I'm not sweating it.
She has this capacity. I like that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pay her this much because whatever. I'm on people's asses because I don't want nobody to get left behind.
George Bush and Stevona collab. No child left behind, dog.
No man child left behind. You heard it here, folks.
I know I'm over here secretly being everybody's like social media manager, but also too, like, if you're uploading reels and they get good attention, Instagram will pay you. I get like 200, 250 a month. That's like extra. That's just for posting fun. That's like fun. That's something that I'm already doing because I'm I'm already at Chatterbox hosting. Okay, might as well just fucking record it.
Do you have a joke that you like remember when you're like, oh shit, this is like, I'm doing comedy now?
My ashes joke, I really felt like I was like, whoa. The one that I did on Kill Tony too. Like, that's a good joke. And then I recently came up with another one. It says, I'll say it on here. Because how I have a whole bit about Chihuahuas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I say, this one guy told me, oh, you would own a Chihuahua because all pets look like their owners.
Wow.
And I said, what does that mean? And he goes, because you're small and annoying. So I said, well, if that's true, then you must own a pug. Because you look like your mom fucks her brother.
That's so funny.
That was when I was in the, when you get a good joke when you're driving and you're like, fuck, I gotta write it down. And you're like, I can't pull over, I can't, but I have to write it down.
That's how it was with the Kia with the Kia Soul joke.
Yeah.
I remember I drove up and I was like, I got it, dude.
I got a
was
joke.
like, because we were hosting that day, and I was like, I got a bit.
Like, he was
Ricky.
excited, and I was like, all right, okay. Like,
I had spaced out at a mic, and they were calling my name, and I wasn't answering. And then finally, someone comes out the door and is like, "Hey, they're calling your name." So I was like, "Oh, snap!" So I start walking in, but I'm still out of it. So I'm not walking quickly enough. And they're like, "If he doesn't get here now, we're gonna give it to this next guy, Kevin." And the Kevin guy starts running towards the stage, and people think that we're racing each other to the stage. And so he's like, "Sorry, dude, I had to beat you to it." And then he does his set, and I'm like, I feel bad, but I'm gonna get him back for this. So I get back on stage, and I say, "Man, that really sucks because he thought we were racing, but I just saw someone who needed this more than I did."
damn.
And I just got off stage. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Imagine.
love comedy like that, like just mean. I don't know why.
Dude,
but
I
just,
did
like,
the worst. I
mean.
did something that I was embarrassed about at an open mic one time.
I think I was there, too.
You were there at Jackson's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At Jackson's mic.
Yeah. I wasn't sitting.
Oh!
I wasn't sitting at the table with you guys, but I was like, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm so happy to be
but
there. It was
also-
drama.
Okay.
Like, fuck that guy.
It was like
Fair.
Love and Hip Hop. It was like Love and Comedy.
It just, I hated being at that open mic. I love Jackson. Jackson
Yeah.
Lynn, great dude.
I don't like doing comedies in breweries. Is my thing. I don't know why. The vibe is weird. I'll do it. Don't get me wrong.
They all
Hit
have
me
pinball
up,
machines.
But I don't
I've
like
never
the vibe.
been. The only good show that I've been to that's at a brewery is because they had good sound was Iron Bark.
Yeah.
Joshua Watt and Karina Sagan. But every other brewery I've been to, it just sounds like you're inside a boombox. Like it's like the same kind of quality sound at like Tacos Mexico, like at 3 a.m. Like
Yeah, I feel like I'm inside a Home Depot or something. I don't.
yeah,
Just
but
metal and wood everywhere.
Yeah.
so we went to
Smells
this
nice,
mic, and this mic was in the IE, and the IE already hates us for being from Chatterbox and for like doing LA comedy.
Why?
And
It's a thing.
Really? I didn't even know. They love me.
I'm an asshole in this situation, but I felt it was necessary, and I will say I'm embarrassed by it now. We were at this open mic, and it's
Are you
one
gonna
of-
tell the story?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! She brought the puppy on tick. It's really dear. Okay, I thought you were gonna shy away from it.
No, I was gonna say. So I don't remember which brewery it was.
Laverne Brewing.
It was in
Hide
Laverne.
my buns on.
Laverne Brewery. So we were at this. I hadn't been to this mic. Jackson posted about it all the time, and like we were at this mic. The sound is terrible, and the thing is that I don't like. Look, I'm gonna sound like a pretentious person right now, but I don't like going to mics where all of the comedies are friends with each other and they're hanging out outside of the open mic instead of like supporting the people on stage, because they'll come out and like either they all come in and talk during everybody else's set and then only pay attention to their friends, or they'll just like be outside and it'll be an empty room, and then they'll come in for their friends. So that was the first thing that I didn't like. The second thing was the sound was bad, but that was to be expected. The third thing was that I had already seen 2 comics steal material from like very famous like viral bits, and they were laughing at that stuff. But then when you went up, or when Stevona went up, or like when one of us went up, like they weren't giving us any like respect or attention. So I was like fuming I'm taking all of this personally, but the final straw was this guy did a bit that brought everybody that was outside inside the mic. And it was a white guy. He was the comic, and he was like, okay, here's my friend. Here, he brought his black friend up, and he was like, this is my friend. He's going to help me tell this story or whatever. So the guy would tell the story, and whenever he wanted to say the N-word, he would give it to his friend, and his black friend would say the N-word for him. And then it was like, that was the joke, right? That was the bit. And the whole time, everybody's like, every time he gives the mic to his friend and he says the N-word, everybody's like losing their shit. And I was like, this is a bit. Like,
yeah, I think we're all of us at the same time. We're like, we've seen this.
Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, I know who. Like, I came up to them. I was like, this is a Bo
I
Burnham
didn't
bit.
know.
I don't know if it's Bo Burnham, but
Yeah, it was out the gate. That was the video you showed.
oh, anyway, I was like, this is a bit. Like millions, tens of millions of views, hundreds of millions of views on like different platforms. Like, this is a bit. And I was just like fuming. So I like went up on stage. This is something that you guys don't know, was that we went there with Gerardo, and Gerardo was always on my ass about like recording my sets. So as I'm about to go up, he goes, Dom, record your set. And I turned to him and I was like, record it for me. And he's like, what the fuck?
Watch
like,
this.
Yeah. And he was like, what the fuck, asshole? Just record your set. And so like I get on stage and I pull out my phone and like I hold my phone up to the mic and I just play that YouTube clip of that story. And like everybody was quiet the whole time. And then like the people they're like, hey, this guy's doing the thing. And like everybody from outside came in and they were all just standing there.
I was there. That shit was funny. It was just like silence.
Yeah,
Like,
and then I still had 2 minutes left, and I was like, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. And then I just walked off stage.
That guy talked to you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was like, I haven't seen that. He's like, thanks for showing me. Like, thanks, dude. And
Yeah.
did you tell him why you did it? The actual truth?
Here's the thing that was like, that guy was totally kind of full of shit, was that his friend, before they had a chance to talk to each other, was admitting, he was like, yeah, going in, like, we didn't think anyone would pick up on it. Like, the other guy was admitting that they knew it going in, but the other guy was like, no, I've never seen that before. I don't know what you're talking about. Wow, that's weird. It's like, that's...
Wow. So one friend said one thing and one friend said another?
Yeah, and it's also like, that's too specific a bit to pretend that you've never heard of it before.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I had my Joe Rogan moment and just like called this fool out straight up. And it's an asshole thing to do because it's like, is it going to matter in the long run? Is this guy going to get famous off of doing this like
Yeah, how did you
already
feel
famous?
after?
I'm going to be honest. The next day I was like, why'd I do that? Like that was stupid. I didn't need to do
definitely
that.
hated it because
I know
was
he
next.
was up next. He was up next. Jackson was like, well,
Yep.
I forgot what he said, but he was like, sometimes you just have to prove a point, I guess. And, like, and I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I shouldn't have done that. It's like, I'm going to be honest, regardless of like the like arrogance that they had of like, we're going to steal this bit. I'm the asshole in this situation by just like publicly humiliating them when it's my first time there. And like, I don't know anybody. I was the asshole in this situation, but it was really funny at the time for me.
Yeah. No, I was going to say maybe people will forget that, but I don't think so because I didn't. I wanted to like bring it up to you so many times, but I just like never did this. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to hear about it today.
I have, because I think comedians sometimes accidentally steal a bit, but if you're any aware, like, oops, I think I took that. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
I think that happens especially early on to some comedians. But I keep in mind when people have done it once or twice, and I start to doubt if it was ever an accident, I just keep that in the back of my head. Of
Yeah.
like, this may be a pattern.
Yeah, it's also like, I mean, not that they're not talented or that they wouldn't become popular, but like they most likely were just going to keep doing comedy in their scene and like being successful in their area. And like most people don't know comedy. Like most audiences
Me.
don't know comedy, right? Most audiences, even if they're fans, like most people see comedy as like the people at the Comedy Store, the people at the Cellar, the people on Netflix or on Comedy Central, and they don't really see like it to compare it to music. It's like, you know,
it's not on the radio 24/7 where
Exactly.
you could just listen to different types and, you know, you have to actually like click it
right.
and like look for it.
I was gonna say they do have a station like that, but it's like on F1 or F2. What's the alternative one?
Oh, XM radio.
Like
And
trucker
nobody
radio.
listens to the radio anymore.
But it's just like
And what's the point of taking a joke, huh? Like, what do you feel after? I would feel like a fraud.
If you can like the immediate idea is like it's immediate validation. If you can make a crowd laugh without having to put effort into it.
I understand some people like freak out, maybe when they're hosting or maybe crowd or something, and they say something that was maybe like someone else's joke or something. But like at an open mic, you know, you're there to practice your own shit. Like, why would you?
That's the thing is like some people aren't there to practice. Some people are there. They think that doing the mic is them being in the community. We've literally met. There's literally like we won't go into the whole story unless he wants to. But there was one guy we met that his first time ever doing comedy, he was talking to some dude that was like drunk off his rocker, and essentially it was just
that's
like
what happened because there was a guy at Flappers. there was a guy at Flappers.
Did we all start there?
I mean, I feel like when you first
Kind
are
of.
trying to do it, everybody goes there. You find your way through Flappers at some point. But it was funny because like there was a guy that had gone up the very first night and he was very excited, very drunk, and like he didn't do well, but he was drunk enough to not care. And most times, you know, I don't hate. I'm very cordial with like new people, but there was a guy that was drunk the whole time, heckling people, making noise in the hallways and stuff, like being a distraction. And like that guy, the open micer, the new guy, was like laughing at that guy and like kind of egging him on. And I was like, don't encourage him, dude. And he's like, well, why not? And I was like, because that guy's being an asshole. And he was like, we're comics.
we're all assholes.
And I was like, no, that's not how things work, you know?
Like
And
you
he goes,
just got here.
he goes, you're kind of being an asshole right now. And I was like, that's a rude thing to say. Like, and he's like, this is what we do. We make fun of each other. I was like, this is your first time, dude.
You don't fucking
literally-
heckle though.
was
We
also-
all know we're not supposed
Especially
to heckle.
the one person that's supposed to
Person.
understand is a comedian.
It's also like he hadn't gone up yet, so it was like you haven't even started this yet.
Yeah, but
I would have said weird. Weird.
And then he bombed, and then afterward he's like, "You guys want to go get donuts?
Oh,
I'm buying." And it was like, everyone was like, "No, it's 2 a.m. We're gonna go home."
But it's, I think, especially, I mean, at that time I wasn't that young. It was like a year ago. It was like 1 or 2 years ago that I did that, where I like played the clip. I did it. It was. There's a thing, I think, especially when it's like, oh, this is my passion, that you're so like
I feel you.
lost in the sauce of like, oh, everybody's got to take this as serious as I do and feel the same way that I do, and if they're not doing it the way that I would do it, then like that's the wrong way to do it. And it's like, who at a certain point you like, as soon as I did that, as soon as I got off stage, I was like, I didn't need to do that. I wasted my time. I could have been working on jokes up there. Who cares? How many shows have I done where nobody's listening? Like, I could have just worked on shit. Like, why waste my own time and waste everybody else's time?
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's not my job. It's not my job to hold people accountable. Like, I'm not the fucking comedy police.
I felt the same.
Yeah,
I
there
felt
is
the
an
same
official.
one. But I'm all for petty stuff, but I'm like, like that didn't. Those guys, I get what you're saying though, because I used to, and I still kind of am, depending on where we're at. I used to get really butthurt too when comics are like you know, in and out just for their friends. And it's like they're outside the entire time. And now it's at a point where I'm like, let them go outside and let them stay outside because they suck. And they're going to continue to suck by being outside. And like, I'm happy I can say this on a podcast, but like any comedians that go to open mics and just socialize or don't even like watch open micers or like, you know, support, like even it's not even just about support, it's like learning yourself too about, you know, if you're outside talking, you suck. Like I've never seen a good comedian that is outside talking the whole time. All the great comedians are inside like working on shit with each other, you know, like and I said it at Chatterbox too. I'm like, if you're outside, I just noticed all the comedians that are always outside are always the one that fucking suck. You know?
Yeah, Steve Hernandez says the same thing. Is like stay inside. You'd be surprised who you can learn things from. Like even the bad comics, you're learning things.
I've got the idea for a joke after seeing somebody bomb, and I was like, no, I didn't take his joke.
I know what you
mean.
I
was like, oh, I have something to say about this.
Yeah, this idea, subject, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that you had mentioned, you'd said, like, I'm not the comedy police, because there is a site called the Comedy Bureau, and it would be funny if you could, like, call them to report people.
That was used to be a running joke, is that you would report somebody to the Comedy Bureau if, like, they were being a dick.
That's funny. But yeah, I would get like really butthurt, and then I'm like, you know what, like let those bitches just stay outside. Like they suck anyways. Like now I know those are the people to not take serious because they don't take it serious. They're just there to like socialize, you know?
Yeah, we were talking to Mario about it.
I do get upset though if it's like a small room, because sometimes they be leaving me with like 2 people inside, and then I see them come in. But every time, if they ain't gonna watch my set, or like you don't gotta watch my set all the time, but like if you're gonna be outside all the fucking time when we're in the same spot, I'm not gonna watch your shit. Like
one thing that I don't like that I take personally,
I'm gonna go home and catch up on my sleep.
If I go up a little bit later and I'm inside watching everyone else and reacting to them, and they leave after they're done, and they don't stay to watch me, I'm like, I gave you all I had.
I feel that. It's like being a doormat sometimes. That's why I'm telling you I like Fourth Wall, because they lock you inside. Everybody's gonna fucking listen to me. None of you are leaving. I don't give a fuck where you guys gotta go. You're mine for...
You agree to the hour, you stay for the hour.
I haven't been to one of those mics, but...
It's for the one that like Playhouse?
No, that's next stage.
Right.
Playhouse was crazy. It's a lot of black comedians when I went.
Where's Playhouse?
In Pasadena, I think.
Oh, no. Wait, no. Clubhouse is... No, I don't remember where it's...
Clubhouse is in Los Feliz. That's like an alternative comedy.
There was
Playhouse
this
is the
black
one that
I went to. Black comedians. So lit. So lit. It was so... There was smoking inside. We were in
is
like
that with Arthur Hamilton?
I'm not sure. It was so
Was that
long
next
ago.
stage? Was that upstairs?
You walk in and then it's like an auditorium, almost like a little theater. Like a small little theater. There's like theater seats and then
Skip Town.
Skip Town
I've been to
Playhouse.
Skip Town
Playhouse.
Skip Town Playhouse.
Skip Town.
I've been to Skip Town a handful of times. It's a pretty fun, intimate venue.
It is. It was. They were lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, smoke like.
When I started
tight.
getting good, one of my Skip Town sets were like,
yeah,
where I started shining.
Yeah. I gotta go back. Do they still have it? I'm like,
I think so. It's been a minute. It's been a long time.
Well, the Skip Town, you can rent. So like they were probably renting out the space.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, how do they pay for this spot? Because
so there's an owner or two from what I remember meeting them. One of them is Annie and the other guy is Vincent, I think. The guy is Vincent. I don't know. It's been so many years that I don't know who's running it now or what, but they would rent out. You could rent the venue to run your shows.
I always wonder how mics can afford the place that they're at in LA by like only charging $5.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, that Skip Town, they're running multiple events throughout the month. So if they're making enough, like a mic on a slow night, it's worth it to them.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's like $100 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they have like big ticket shows, and then they have like stuff to fill
Yeah, and they're
their
also
days.
selling like water and sodas.
Yeah, they're doing everything through Venmo too, so
Yeah.
everything's like tax free.
Yeah.
So it's also because like Skip Town is tiny. It's not the best location. The parking's a little hard, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the rent's probably not that crazy. I would hope.
Do you have a joke that like doesn't work, but you think is super funny?
Yeah,
That's a Pete Holmes asked question. So
my chastity belt joke.
I do want it to work better, honestly, when I see you do it.
Me too. It never hits.
I haven't heard a chastity belt joke before.
When I say I think that we should bring chastity belts back, everybody's like,
They lock up.
come on. I think because well, it's not really a joke, but it's like I want to feel safe walking to Target, so I think we should bring the chastity belts back. So I'm not sure if people are like not laughing because I'm kind of probably talking about like being taken advantage of sexually, or if they're correlating a chastity belt and like. But really, a chastity belt was something that the kings used to give their daughters so that they couldn't lose their virginity.
Yeah.
And I think that's just fucking funny.
Maybe they're just haters because you can still afford to go to Target and they can't.
Maybe I should drop the joke down to Walmart.
We're a Walmart crowd.
I get that fruit to the loom.
Chastity?
Chastity belt.
I think we're punching it up right now. I think that's what's happening.
I feel like most of the times I've heard you tell that joke that I've seen it is like in a room of like male comedians.
Maybe,
They're
yeah.
like, boo.
Yeah.
They already locked the pussy up.
That's
Yeah.
Locked doors.
Dudes
Well,
get
they
weird
laugh
about.
when I say pussy on lock.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good.
But
Shout
yeah,
out
they
to
do-
Mario. Mario gave me that tag.
They do get weird about sexual bit. Like I wrote this bit that I still think is really funny, and it's comparing heckling to like getting a blowjob and then asking for dirty talk during, and it's like this thing's already for you. And there's a lot of analogies that are funny, but guys are like, why can't you just say eating vagina? I'm like, why does it matter? It's not about you.
Because it's not as much work.
Yeah, because I mean, I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm going to say the chastity belt. But I need to start thinking, I think I need to have more punchlines with it. It can't just be like the pussy on lock. It needs,
for sure.
If I'm going to, it got to pack a punch. You know, it got to come with a few other more one-liners with it.
Yeah.
But I'll figure it out. My brain won't exercise it now that I got that How to Write Funnier book.
Exercise the demon.
I have a joke that for the longest time, when I first wrote it, it worked because of the vibe that I had on stage, but then I started developing a persona and I had to rewrite it. And it took me literally like 5 years to write a version that worked again. But it's the Einstein joke. For the longest time, it was like just too long. I did this bit about how dating online is complicated because I'm like honest about being autistic. I put it in my bio, but then when people are talking to me and then they read my bio, they get really weird about it. And the original version didn't work, but the current version works a lot better because they started talking about, I was like, you guys remember Einstein, right? Like that dude was autistic and that dude fucked. Like that dude was a fuck boy. Yeah.
Okay, I took a test on the web because I was watching reality TV. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I was watching reality TV, and one of my favorite people that I like to watch, it was the reunion where they come back together after, and she was like, I found out that I'm autistic. And she was like crying, and I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I'm autistic. Like, just to check, because she kept saying that, like, she always plays with her hair, she always bites her lip or something, and like, I'm like, oh my God, I do that. Like, I'm always playing my hair or like biting my lip. I'm like, okay, let me just check. So I did, and I took a test, and then it said that I'm likely on the spectrum. And I'm like, what? But I also feel like I kind of hacked the answers to, like, purposely get that, too. Like,
Well, that's the thing. I don't mean to, like, perpetuate.
Ryan's like, no, the fuck you're not.
But the most common people I think I run into that might have it smoke a ton of weed.
Oh, shit.
So it's like, you're just, like, absent-minded.
Self-medicated over here.
Because I thought about it, and I'm like, there really is no normal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, like, that's a misinterpretation of what it's not just, like, being weird. It's, like, to define autism as simply as you can without oversimplifying it, our brains process collective data differently. We have a different way of problem solving because we don't learn immediately like most non-autistic people do. Like I tell this joke where it's like with regular children, they learn like monkey see, monkey do. That's how they learn to talk, walk, pee, etc. With autistic people, it's like monkey see, monkey wonders why everyone does it that way, but monkey doesn't want people to question whether or not he's an actual monkey, so monkey pretends to do.
That's a good way to put it.
I see. Yeah. And I also had ADHD. I got diagnosed with ADHD in middle school and high school. But I stopped taking my meds.
Yeah.
I stopped taking my meds. And because we kind of already thought about it in middle school. My parents my mom, I would say, was like, I think she had something, because I kept getting in trouble at school, and I would tell myself like, today I'm gonna be a good girl, I'm gonna listen, and like it just would never happen. And then high school, it was just getting out of control. So my mom's like, yeah, we need to go see a doctor. And then I started taking like Ritalin and Adderall, but I didn't like how it made me feel. So I stopped, and then once I graduated, I started like learning more about like foods and like what can trigger your ADHD. So I stopped eating like certain things. Like I cut back on a lot of hot Cheetos, which is really hard because a lot of Red 40. And I started eating more again because I just started binging. But I try to stay away from a lot of Red 40 and like Blue 04. But yeah, I don't want to say like I have ADHD because I don't want to own up to it, I guess. I don't want to because then I'm going to start acting like it.
That's also that's the thing that we've talked about before, because it's a common thing, especially in women and female presenting people, where it's like there's a larger stigma. There's a larger stigma, but also because they try to pretend that it's because of like hormones or puberty, there's actually a higher number of people that are female or female presenting that struggle with getting diagnosed in the first place. And it's a thing of like, when you go undiagnosed for so long, essentially what's happening is you're being told that there's a specific set of rules that you have to follow, and you're told this as if everyone follows these rules. And then you get older and you wonder why no one else knows the rules, and then you become that person that's like anal retentive and restrictive and like overly corrective and obsessive compulsive, because you need everyone else to follow the rules too, because otherwise that means that you were forced to do something you didn't have to do, and that sucks. Yeah.
That's me.
And that's why people like don't like admitting it later on. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with having things. You can't help having ADHD or autism any more than you can help having like black hair, brown eyes. Like, that's kind of how that works.
Yeah, but I also feel like we brought it on ourselves too, with like phones and.
There's a lot of research. A lot of people think that it's stimulate. You don't gain ADHD. You're born with it. It's a developmental disorder.
Yeah, I think they just get like symptoms from like being on your, because if you stop being on your phone too much and you stop stimulation for a long time, you'll get more concentration after, because you're not
that's also
wasting.
It's like
training your mind to be unfocused.
It's less about what externally affects you and more about how you learn to cope with it yourself. These things can be exacerbators, but there's no guarantee that just depriving yourself of anything is going to cure it, because there is no cure for it. You just learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because
like I couldn't have caffeine as a kid. Now I can have caffeine, but I have to balance it with water. And like if I feel that I'm getting a caffeine rush, I have to like stop what I'm doing and wait till it passes, because I get shaky.
Yeah, they told me that caffeine would be good for me because I had ADHD, that it does like the opposite, and it like chills you out. Don't tell me you're autistic too.
I just look up. I don't know. I feel like if I do have anything, maybe it's ADHD, because like I would always like see like other people that say they have it and be like, I think I might.
I usually recommend, because this is a thing that I run into a lot, especially with my brothers, where it's like there's no verified test necessarily. Like you can get assessed, and even then there's no guarantee that the doctor will see it even if you have it, but there is a list of criteria that you can look up. And what I tell people is usually looking into it for yourself, looking into the criteria, looking into people that have a verified diagnosis and explain what they're going through. If you empathize and like associate with those things to a heavy extent, it is more than likely that you have it. And it's just a thing to learn about yourself. Really, if you've learned to cope without having being diagnosed, the only benefit necessarily is just like learning more about yourself and learning how to cope with the things that you've noticed you've been struggling with.
That's crazy. The new Proud Family. Have you guys seen the Proud Family?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't a Disney kid. We didn't have cable.
Ryan just nodded his head yes.
Yeah, we did.
The little
I
twins.
watched it. You could have just said you didn't watch it.
They're rebooting it, and one of the twins is autistic.
I forget what their names are.
Yeah, BB and Cece.
Yeah, BB is the one that's autistic now.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were a Disney Channel kid, you had money. Everybody,
Well-
dead silence.
Well, it's just because I can't speak to our development growing up, but I did watch the Disney Channel. Like,
You guys were watching Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
That was like no cable, huh?
I think it was a thing of like we remember when you just got like public TV from the little white cord, and then eventually we got a box.
Oh.
But for a while, like our only cartoons were PBS, WB on Saturdays and Wednesdays, and like the church channel at 4 a.m. on Saturdays.
PBS was the shit. The Berenstain Bears. Franklin.
Franklin. Hey, it's Franklin.
Little Bear.
I wasn't a big fan.
Clifford. I like Little Bear.
I didn't know that Clifford was what's the guy's name again from Scrubs? The dad from Scrubs. JD's dad from Scrubs.
What's Scrubs?
I don't know.
the
John. He was from Three's Company. He's the guy
Three's
John
Company
Ritter.
John
too.
Ritter.
John Ritter. He was
Come and
Clifford.
knock on our door.
Yeah, that dude was Clifford. I didn't realize that when I was a kid.
Jack.
I love that show.
That dude was Clifford, the hound dog.
Golden Girls too. Golden Girls
I actually
was
did
the
like
shit.
Golden Girls. I didn't watch it a ton, but when it was on, I would watch it.
I watched MASH.
Did you guys
I'm
watch
not the only
Matlock?
one. Maybe we are all
No.
autistic.
You know, watch Matlock.
No, that I didn't
That's
watch.
a latchkey kid. Like,
My grandpa would watch it. That's how I know what
Yeah.
it was.
That
Or what
makes
about
sense.
Gilligan's Island?
Absolutely.
I watched MASH, Murder, She Wrote.
How about 48 Hours?
And then
Oh,
just
how
like
about
a
Unsolved
bunch of-
Mysteries?
Yes.
no.
That would mess with me as a kid.
Twilight Zone.
A little bit. There was
I
time
saw
now.
I saw the version that was on air like during the 2000s with Forrest Whitaker. It was literally just remaking the old episodes, but it was like Forrest Whitaker instead
I
of.
would love to do that.
It was not great.
Oh man.
I feel like I was the only one that didn't understand Twilight Zone. We were hanging out at the Chatterbox every day, and somebody kept saying like, "There was time now," and then every new person that kept like it literally happened like 3 people in a row. They were like, "Oh, Twilight Zone, right?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?" And they're like,
It's like super famous.
Yes, it's like
I know
one of the
it-
best shows ever.
I only know that from Family Guy.
There-
It was the dude from.
and I know that that's
he was
a
the coach in
reference.
Rocky.
There's literally
Really?
who?
The old guy.
The coach
Twilight Zone?
from the first
Or
Rocky.
he was at Chatterbox.
There's
Yes.
the coach from the Rocky movie also played the dude that drops his glasses in that very popular Twilight Zone episode.
Oh.
So if you don't know either, then you just don't know who the fuck I'm talking about.
But if you want to know, you can go look on Netflix. They have the Twilight Zone.
And they have all of the Rocky. Why are we shouting out Netflix right
They have enough money. Those
now?
fucking
Just hear a
bitches.
boom.
Sponsor
Huh?
Made $20.
There is this episode on the Twilight Zone where it's like this world. I don't know. It's crazy. They all start fighting and like it's a community. They're
Oh, yeah.
WWE,
they all start. No, they're like conflict with each other.
Royal Rumble, Rage in the Cage.
They hate it. Like, they're just fighting, arguing, anger,
turning on
lots
your
of
lights too
anger,
much.
jealousy, like basically kind of like racism and school shooting. It's like back in the day. Not.
I remember seeing the original of that, but I know which episode you're talking about.
Yeah, they basically like everybody's fighting in the community, and then it shows like it's like these aliens, and they're controlling everything, and
They're
they're
literally
making,
just turning lights on and off and like fucking with people. But they're inciting paranoia.
that's what they're installing fear into the community, and the community starts fighting with each other, and they're it's not so safe anymore because they all hate each other and they're all but later on we see that it's the aliens that are fucking with them because they're trying to take down that world, and they say first they gotta kill each other.
So the Men in Black is real.
I never
It's
seen
a
the Men in Black.
documentary.
You need to watch it. It's crazy because that's what's going on right now. The government is making us fight.
Oh my god! we were talking about, me and Josh were talking about conspiracy, like people, like a week or two ago, the last time we were seeing each other. Anyway, we were talking about like conspiracy people, and I was driving, so I was driving somebody, dropping them off at like a supermarket, and like they were going to Sprouts, and the speed at which they jumped to conspiracies was like
They're trying to spread the word.
because he was like, yeah, I'm going to Sprouts for lunch, and he's like, I'm gonna get a sandwich. There's always a wait for a sandwich. It's like it usually takes like 15 minutes, so hopefully there's nobody there because I love their sandwiches, because he said they make it fresh for you in front of you, so they don't use any of that packaged stuff, because you know that packaged stuff has like a lot of chemicals in it, and that stuff will give you cancer. And he's like, and I think it's the government putting the chemicals in the food, and that's what's giving everybody cancer. That's why we're all sick. And because you know the government did 9/11, right?
Dang, you hit 3 stories in one.
Yeah, associated.
You know there's jet fuel in the turkey meat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mosquitoes.
That's exactly
blood,
how it went down. I was
blood
like,
wars.
I think it's nice to be aware.
Robert De Niro.
he's just spreading
I think it's
awareness.
nice to be aware.
I'm not opposed to conspiracy theories. I'm opposed to the intensity of needing to believe that every single thing's a conspiracy. Like I had an old coworker that would be like, every time we talk about an issue in society, you know, just complaining at work, just to talk, and he's like, it's all a business, you know? And I'm like, yeah, we all know it's a business. Like
Capitalism.
That's not the secret.
Secret is the 11 herbs and spice.
Didn't you ever see when that Tupperware company was supposedly sex trafficking kids?
What?
Tupperware company?
Wayfair?
Oh, and that turned out to be like a farce, no?
Oh,
Of course the government's going to say that. Of course.
they were trafficking kids in like
And there was
refrigerators or something.
literally videos. There's literally basically people would buy this because if you go on their website, there's like Tupperware, basic Tupperware for like thousands and thousands of dollars. Who the fuck is gonna buy Tupperware for like $10,000 or like a fridge for like $50,000, just like a basic fridge? It was like regular basic, but nobody ever like, nobody who has the money ever like looks into it or thinks of it.
Right.
But there was a video where the guy was like clicking on some, and he had like children that had their name and their weight and their height, and all of a sudden the refrigerator is $10,000 or $30,000, and the name of it is a Sabrina refrigerator, 5'10", 5'5", whatever. The size of the kid. It's like literally the same name.
When you say the size of a kid, why'd you point
My bad. Because I'm like, get it? I'm good. I'm going
You see how small it looks on the couch?
She gets
That's
a
why we
measuring
put you
tape
guys
like
next to each
about
other.
this big. She's holding it
But
up to
how
Ricky.
they were describing them was how the kids
That
were
makes me wanna
missing
look
were
into it again.
described.
Dude, what was
I'll
so
send you videos. I got them. I'll
so
send you videos. Let me go my notes. I got them all saved in here.
Jokes and conspiracies?
That was scary though. That's when I was like, ooh, maybe this is true. And also too, I believe that the government is trying to purposely make us sick, and purposely trying. Well, because aren't we the only country that has a middle class?
No.
I think we
No,
lost
that's-
our middle class, actually.
Oops. But
I
our
think that's
country
gone.
runs on middle class.
well, it's supposed to.
Supposed to.
That stuff is gone.
The middle class is getting smaller and smaller. is the
Oh,
thing. That
so
was like,
basically we're only gonna have.
The upper and the lower.
We're back to serfdom, baby.
That sucks.
Why
Why though? How? Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, no, all of it.
I think we need some fucking youth in our.
Government.
Yeah. These
I-
fucking bags of dust. Dude, they're like, you can't. That's like having your great grandpa raise you. You think he's gonna know how
You know
to
what
fucking?
that's like, huh?
You think he's gonna know how to? You think he's gonna know how to track your location, bitch? You think he's gonna?
That's true.
You think he's gonna know that men should not pick you up at the house anymore because it's not safe? That you should go meet with them at a public place instead? No, because they're old. They're acting fucking old.
They're like,
old.
yeah, he should bring you flowers and
And you're like, no,
bully
I
you into dating him.
like
I
I,
was-
don't want nobody. To
I was
know where I
picturing
live.
Joe Biden, like working at the NDA. No, what is it called? The
NSA?
NSA. And he's like, okay, well, now what do I click? And he's like trying to track down a terrorist. Okay, now what do I click?
I scroll in with the wheel. There's a wheel.
I wouldn't mind if Kanye was president.
Really?
I would.
Cut.
I really liked him on the Joe Rogan podcast.
He said a lot of fancy nonsense to me.
I like the way he says chew.
True.
Because he's from
That's how
Utah
they
now.
get you, huh? A good turn of phrase.
I'm just kidding, you guys.
Give him a slogan.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I feel like he needs to train for the position, but I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if, like based on that logic, his opponent was, fuck, I gotta learn people's names. Little John? The guy that was like, what?
Little John.
Little John? Yeah, that's him.
So many Littles and Johns.
Robin Hood's best bud.
That was even nerdier than my thing. I don't know rappers' names. You mean the folklore from
Because you
19
said little stupid.
You're stupid.
Hey.
Little John.
What is that?
Little,
What is it?
little,
It's
little,
Lil John.
Little John.
Littly?
Anyway.
They say that Kanye West is sick in the head and that he's mentally ill, but I think that he's just living in another world that none of us can comprehend because he's so fucking rich.
And you want him
Yeah,
to be president?
I said practice. He should practice. He should take
We
a
already
few
tried
years.
that with Donald Trump. A rich guy that lives in his own world. You just want to. It's the same guy.
Yeah, I feel like Kanye's a little bit more for the people because he was poor.
That
No,
reminded
I
me
don't
of
think
like.
And
he's
his
been
mother-
telling us the
his-
whole time. I'm gonna be rich and fuck everybody else. He's been saying it the
Oh,
whole
never
time.
mind.
The funniest Trump moment I feel like was like when he tried to have mass at a church, but it was during the lockdown of COVID, so they were like, "No, you can't come inside." So he like pretended to have the church shut down, and it's like we were already closed, but okay.
I liked when he was doing the debate with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, yes, old men fighting. Catty. I've never seen something like that. I love when Donald Trump argues because he's petty, he's quick,
Yeah.
and he's not scared.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's just...
And
Be
now
very
I'm also-
careful right now, Stevona.
What?
You're towing the line.
I just like when he gets in arguments with other people because he just be saying dumb stuff. He'd be like, well, actually...
You're fucking fat.
Just like a sassy.
Your
grandma.
hips are bigger than mine. And he's thick, and you know he's thick.
He's like when you call the wrong aunt to pick you up from school, and she's like trying to cuss out the teacher. Like,
Oh my God.
fuck you, you're fat.
His son is so ugly, though.
Which one?
Yes.
The main one. Donald.
Junior? Mm-hmm. Like he does the, yeah. He's got that rich mouth.
Oh. They look like they do, they look like they participate in the purge, huh? Purge
Yeah.
activities, huh?
What's the Happy Habsburg? You know?
All the
That's a-
super rich. Have you seen the Murdoch case? The Murdoch.
I've been
case?
wanting to watch it. I just saw a trailer for it. That shit's
That's
wild.
white people. That's rich white people shit. That's like their
Madoff?
cousins.
Murdoch.
Murdoch.
Wait, what's murder?
It's like a newer
It's like a politician family.
politician lawyer family, and there's like they're known for the law and order. Like basically, they ran a town or city or something, and then some people started dying adjacent to that family, and
wow.
things go down.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw the trailer. I was like, you know what? I haven't watched a good messed up murder story in a while.
Watch it. It's pretty good. It's nice. If you like to see the rich go down in flames, I highly recommend. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's why you want Kanye to be president.
All right, I take that back. Everyone's gonna comment on your guys' stuff. Watch me like that dumb bitch.
Stevona, thank you for being with us today.
Like I said, it's about motherfucking time.
Yeah, when I
It's a
remember
pleasure to be in this sinking couch.
after we had Felipe on, I was like at Chatterbox talking to Stevona, like, yeah, we had Felipe on. Now I feel like we could ask anybody, like, but we need more women on. Like, who should we have? Like, I can't think of any women to come to ask to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we were sitting right next to each other. And
I was
he
talking
goes-
to her.
Yeah, he's like, we need more girls. I said, yeah, you do. But who? Yeah, I don't know, man. He's like, I gotta figure out how to get more girls on there, but I don't know who I could ask. I don't know either. I'm like,
Nudge,
gee,
nudge.
no clue. Who is a woman in comedy
You're just twirling your hair,
nowadays? And I told Mala.
You
that
told Mala and she
and
texted me the next day.
Snitched on me. Like, bitches.
But thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. Do you have anything that you want to plug?
No, you can follow me on Instagram, Stevona Delgado, and come to my shows, come to Chatterbox, and keep watching, subscribing, and donating, and being a good person to all humankind. Period.
Well, if you made it this far, what's your favorite conspiracy theory? And from us at un poquito, don't fly.